Hi, and welcome to week 13, episode 13 of Holistic Movement with Rob. Remember, folks, why you're participating in this class, watching this, is because it's about me. It's about you. Or it's about the state of Maine. If you're ever in the state of Maine, it's about Maine. Mainly me. Let's try to embody me, and feel me. Not feel me, feel you. Feel yourself. Wow. Okay, so I thought we'd start with the neck. And remember last week we got into strengthening the longus colli and capitis? Well, I thought we'd strengthen this muscle. I know it looks frightening, doesn't it? The platissimus, I believe it's called. I'll put a picture of there somewhere. Why are we strengthening this? Well, cosmetic reasons. I'm all about cosmetics. The older I get, once you hit 50, Actually, it's just to provide stability within the neck. And there's a dentist out of England, I forget his name, John something, I'll post it down below. He talks about mewing and the structure of the jaw and how can we change the structure of the jaw. One, we breathe through the nose. We should not open our mouths when we breathe because that relaxes the jaw and it changes the shape of the jaw. And one exercise that he recommends is strengthening this muscle, platissimus. And so we're going to do that. We're going to start out with this. So maybe you want to pause the video after you watch it and go in front of a mirror and see if you can activate this. It can be difficult for people to activate this muscle. Okay, but watch the creature from the Black Lagoon and then you'll be able to then visualize it more easily. So we're going to try it. And remember, don't forget about the circumferential breathing when you do this, because when we tense the neck, this is a very emotional region, and so we start to get in a panic mode and get stuck on the inhale. So I'll remind you. Here we go. Tense it up. And I'll be talking while I do this. I sound like I don't know right here. Feel that? And I'm sure I look wonderful. Now, while you're doing this, can you concentrate on your breath? Okay, relax. Now, take a breath there. Notice what you feel. I just feel all this turned on. And one thing that I noticed that while I was doing it was my head came forward. I came into kind of that neck flexion, what we're trying to get out of, especially for people who have too much curvature in the back of their neck, not for you military neck people out there. And so we're going to try it again, and we're going to try to set the head first into a more neutral position. And then I'm going to be aware of my forehead. And if you want, you can place one hand on your chest just to comfort your heart if you're feeling lonely, and just to help you stay centered. Okay? Here we go. Tense it up. And I may have to stop just to talk, but keep going. Tuck the chin under a little bit. Bring your head back. And then say, oh, like the creature from the Black Lagoon. I'm going to drop the hand because I feel like it's impeding it. Ooh. Okay, relax. Ooh, fun, yeah? Let's lie on our backs. Let's rest here. And then feel the sensations that you just created to take away the sensory amnesia in this part of the neck. And let your head and neck just fall. So the therapy that I practice and that I help people with, part of that is Gestalt psychotherapy. It's a form called Hakomi, and it's somatic therapy. And I'm encountering this again and again with people, that when they think of a traumatic situation, an emotional situation, there's a lot of tension in the neck. Why is that? Well, A lot of trauma happens because when we're children, we don't know how to emotionally react, and so we go into freeze mode. And or maybe we want to talk back, but we can't. We're kept silent. We want to preserve the relationship, even though it can be abusive, and so we hold that tension in the neck. It's like our words are kind of frozen in the neck. So don't be surprised. The reason why I bring that up is because don't be surprised if when you engage and practice that position, some emotions come up. I brought this up before. Welcome them. Observe them. Take a few more breaths here. Okay, now bend your right knee, rolling over. We're going to come on up, and we're going to start a position that was created by an anatomy trained practitioner out of Poland named Wojtek Wakowski. Hopefully I'm pronouncing his last name correctly. I'm probably not. My good Polish friend here, another Wojtek, will probably laugh in my face if he ever watches this, which I doubt he will. Anyway, my legs are kind of like in this position. Actually, I'm going to show you from this angle, so then you can see it from this angle. I'm going to come a little bit more forward into the camera, and I'm going to bring my left leg. So I started out in kind of like a half swastika, okay, the Buddhist one, and 90-90. And then I'm going to try to bring this left leg as far back as I can go. I'm going to balance on my right hand here, okay? Now, Wojtek based this upon, he blended anatomy trains, connective tissue release, stretching with yoga. He calls it Zoga. I love the name. It's very powerful. Zoga. And so we're just going to do the first portion of this one dealing with the spiral line in anatomy trains. I'll put up a picture of the spiral line, okay? Spiral line has to do with the rotationary aspects of movement. And I won't go into all the different parts of the spiral line that Thomas Myers dissected in a lab, and he references them as metaphors in the body. They can be thought of as that way, for sure. But you can also feel them when you do any kind of rotationary movement. So I'm going to support myself with this hand. Now, if you're having trouble sitting like this, get a block and sit on the block, okay? So I'm going to place my left hand on my rib cage as high as I can go on the rib cage. Okay, and then I'm going to relax my shoulder because I just tensed my shoulder when I did that. And then what I'm going to do is just push my rib cage to my right and then bring my rib cage back to the left. Now, it's not necessarily the hand that's helping that movement. It is slightly. I'm not exerting a lot of force. I'm actually relaxing my whole shoulder. It's actually the rib cage moving. So watch, if I drop this hand, I could still am able to move and shift this rib cage to the right or left. So maybe you want to try it both ways. The hand there, I think, is just for proprioceptive purposes, meaning that it's telling your brain that this is existing, because we lose a lot of feeling in our body. And so the hand is there to tell the brain the rib cage exists, especially the sides of the rib cage. Now, we're just shifting back and forth, and maybe that's challenging for you. Maybe you only have about this much movement or no movement at all. So what do? Breathe into it. Breathe into the sides of your rib cage. Watch this. And that was idiotic of me. It was freaking stupid. I should have just started out with the breathing, right? God, what kind of teacher am I? I'm a failure as a teacher. Okay, so we're just shifting that rib cage. Okay, now we're going to add some rotationary movement. So watch, I'm going to draw a circle. I'm churning the butter of this rib cage. Rotating. Maybe you're not able to do that. That's okay. Maybe just keep on keeping on with that shift. So I'm rotating that rib cage. I'm clockwise circulating, percolating, and then I'm going to switch, and then I'm going to go counterclockwise, and I'm just rotating, drawing a circle with that rib cage. Now, when we're doing this, and I didn't even bring this up as well, is when you do this, do you feel any pull upon your pelvis or your lower back or your pubic bone, or maybe feeling down in your inner thighs, maybe your knees? Hopefully you are. And then you can feel the interconnectedness of the whole body and how the spiral line really affects the sacrum, the lower back, the neck, all of that. Okay, come on back. Let's rest for a second. Okay, we're going to lie on our backs just for a second, and I want you to notice what you feel. I'm going to point out what I feel. I feel the whole left side of my body just turned on. It's like there's literally a separation between the left side and the right side of my body. And I can feel how the left side is imprinting on the floor differently than the right. Okay, what about you? And then I'm going to roll over to my left-hand side. We're going to try the other side. I'm going to scoot a little bit here. I'm trying to bring that right leg as far back as I can go. You might not be able to bring it back, especially maybe if you have knee pain there. I'm going to come a little bit more forward. All right, my left hand is here. And again, if you need a block, use a block. Okay, I'm going to make sure this is 90, but I'm trying to bring this leg as far back as possible. Excuse me. I'm going to place this hand on the right side of my rib cage, relax my shoulder. I'm going to push this rib cage to the left and to the right. And I really feel this on the top of my iliac crest. That's the top of the pelvis, my left pelvis, because after a ski accident a few years back, I really fucked up my lower back a little bit. I just said really and then a little bit. Went ass over tea kettle, and man, so there's still kind of tightness in the attachment of my iliac crest there. What do you feel? Do you notice a pull on your right inner thigh? Maybe your left inner thigh? Maybe your sacrum? Maybe your lower back? Maybe your lats? Maybe you don't feel anything at all. You're dead. Now, can you do that without using the power of the hand and just use the rib cage? And maybe the movement is minimal. That's okay. That's your range now. And that's okay. Okay, rest for a second. And then we're going to draw circles. I'm going to churn the butter of this rib cage. Churn the butter. Churn the butter. Churn the butter. Churn the butter. And then I just reversed. Sorry, I didn't point that out. And you can just alternate back and forth. You can go clockwise. You can go counterclockwise. Yeah. Wake up your rib cage. The rib cage can be one of the most immobile parts of our spine. Why is that? Because the ribs go into the rib cage and it kind of restricts movement somehow. I shouldn't say somehow, in some way. And so how do we release it? We release it by breathing into the rib cage, expanding the sides of the rib cage and the back of the rib cage, and doing this kind of movement, bringing mobility into the rib cage. Okay, let's rest here. Let's lie on back. Now, can you breathe into the sides of your rib cage and to the back of your rib cage here? Okay, let's move on to the next movement. So we're gonna start with doing a hamstring kind of release here. Okay, I took this from Eric Wong, and I think I showed you in weeks before one of his movements, standing. And we're gonna do this lying down. And what we're gonna do, we're gonna bring the arms out to the side like this. And let me show you from this angle, so you can kind of see it here. Okay, and what I'm gonna do, I call this the school of silly walks. Okay, with John Cleese, remember from Monty Python? If you haven't seen it, I'll put a clip down. Yeah. So I'm gonna tighten my right leg. All right. And then what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna bend my left knee, bring it towards me, and then I'm bringing my toes to my nose. My foot is in dorsiflexion. Okay. My other foot is in plantar flexion, toes going down. And then I'm gonna axe kick. I'm just going to bring this heel down with the leg straight. If you cannot keep the leg straight, don't. Bend it. That's where you're at. Then I'm going to engage my left leg to stabilize. I'm going to bring the right knee towards me, Bring the foot in a dorsiflexion. And look, my leg cannot be completely straight. That's okay. I'm not too focused on that. Then drop it. Then the left knee. And then the right knee. Stabilizing with the other one. Now, what does this do? More than anything, it helps to bring mobility and feeling and a little bit of counter nutation into the sacrum. Okay? And what Rob, what are you talking about? Nutation, counter nutation. This means there's a slight, very minuscule movement of the sacrum, of the sacroiliac joints, and I'll put it up there probably for you to see, of the sacrum moving slightly to bring mobility in the sacrum upon the pelvis. And that's what this is doing. It also is helping with elasticity and movement of the hamstrings. Go really slow. The slow blade pierces the shield. Yep. Now, if you feel any kind of pain when you're doing this in the sacrum, stop. Or just make the movement smaller. Maybe you just bring the knee right to here and then you straighten it like that. So let's say you get to this point, that's where you feel pain. Then that's your end range, and then stop right before that. Then bring the leg down. Okay? So maybe it's right here. That's okay too. Right there's your end range. Okay? But if you're able to get up this high, awesome. But if not, that's okay too. You're still special, even though you're not. We're not special. Although we try to be. Keep going. Let's do 2 more. There's 1. There's 2. Okay, let's rest here. Let's take a few breaths right there. Okay, let's bend our right knee and roll on over. And I thought we'd come up and continue kind of with functional movement patterns and to add a rotationary aspect into a functional movement pattern that I really love and that I practice almost every week. So we're going to come stand up, and I'm going to widen my stance here, and you determine how wide you want to go. Okay. For me, this is about comfortable. I feel a slight stretch, pull on my inner thighs, but no pain. If you feel pain when you go wide, you've gone too far. My legs are spider monkey legs. And so I've said it's my oldest joke, and I can go pretty wide. You may not be able to. You now determine what is your safe width. So we're here, and throughout all of this, we want to make sure that our feet are straight, that they don't externally rotate or internally rotate. So check them out. Now, what I'm going to do is I'm going to bend my left knee and just let my pelvis go to the left, and I'm going to bend my right knee. We've done this one before, I believe in the first, maybe first or second episode, something similar. Okay, this is just the warm up, and all we're doing is just bending the left knee, feeling the eccentric pull on the tissues that of the knee that's bending, and lengthening and strengthening at the same time. And that's all we're doing, just to warm up in this. You may feel it in the outer edges of your calf, the fibularis muscles there. Maybe you feel it on your inner arches of your feet. There's no wrong feeling. It's telling you what's going on in your body. Okay, so that's just a warm up. Now, watch this. I'm going to bend my right knee, but first I'm going to bring my left hand down, and we're going to use this as the focal point, as the center point. So whichever hand comes down, try to find the center, okay? So I'm going to drop my left hand, and I'm going to bend my right knee. So left hand, right knee, and I'm going to bring my right arm up and come into a rotation here. I feel the pull on my inner thigh a little bit more, so I'm going to engage my left quads there. Okay, and then I'm going to switch. I'm going to bring my right hand down. I'm going to bend my left knee. I'm going to engage my right quads. And I'm going to rotate to my left. I'm going to try to, so this happens a lot. I want to get more of a rotation. So people bend the wrist. Relax the arm. It's the rotation's coming from your rib cage, not from your arm. And then switch back. And you notice that one side's a little bit more easily rotated than the other. That's okay. That has to do with your primary rotation. And I'm just bending the left knee, rotating to the left, bending the right knee, bending to the right, bending the left knee, rotating to the left, bending the right knee, bending to the right. My shoulders are relaxed. Both shoulders, the one on the floor and the one up in the air. Feel the pull. Feel the eccentric loading. Let's do a few more. There's one, two. Let's do one more. 3. Cool. Okay, now, if you're having trouble getting up, bend your knees. Keep the spine straight. Let's come up this way. Let's rest here for a second. Okay, I'm going to back up just a little bit on my uneven floor. And just rest here. And I noticed that my pelvic floor was tensing, so I'm trying to relax my pelvic floor. I feel the sensations in my inner thighs. I feel the center of gravity in my feet is a little bit different. What about you? Okay, now we're just going to finish with the really easy squatting back bend. And we've done this, and we will do this again and again and again and again and again, because extension is wonderful for the spine. We're stuck in flexion most of the time. So my feet are hip width apart, my dirty ass feet. I'm going to drop my hands under my butt. I'm going to engage my quads and my butt. And then I'm going to try to imagine my whole spine lengthening upward. I'm keeping my chin tucked under. And we're only going to stay for about 30 seconds. Okay, and I'm pushing that chest forward as I keep my head in neutral. But Rob, we've done this so many times before. And we'll do it again and again and again. Lengthen upward. We will never perfect these positions, ever. Your body changes. And it's how I'm doing this position is different than how I did it last week. Lengthen upward. So inhale, lengthen the spine. Exhale. Inhale, lengthen the spine. Exhale. Inhale, lengthen the spine. Exhale, good. Feel what your body does when you exhale there. Keep that butt tight and the quads tight. Inhale, lengthen. Exhale. I think that's about 30 seconds. We're going to come on back. Come back to center. And I was too quick. I'm going to come back and just sit for a second and just come back into a neutral position. See, that's what you get when you're in a hurry. Slow down. The slow blade pierces the shield. Okay, we're going to lie on our backs and we're going to finish up. And I immediately feel how my sacrum and my pelvis are touching the floor. And then I'm noticing my shoulder blades. How are they touching the floor? Adjust them just a little bit. And then just notice how they feel. Not doing anything about it. I'm just feeling them and noticing if they're holding any tension. If they are, I'm letting that tension go. I'm noticing tension in my forehead. I'm relaxing that. I'm noticing tension in my pelvic floor. I'm letting that go. I'm noticing tension on my left inner thighs because my left leg is not as externally rotated as my right leg. What about you? I was telling you about me, but what about you? Where do you notice tension or differences? And then when you notice them, can you use your exhale to let that part be free and create space by expanding it with your exhale and your inhale, but mainly your exhale. Now just let your body fall. And I'll see you next week.